windows for vans that you can see out of and into.
In other words, we're going to pick up our CR Laurence T-vent window.
In half a mile, take exit 1 towards southwest 136th Avenue.
CRL, customer parking, order pickup. Yay! In an effort to save a few pennies, we decided to take advantage of there being a CR Laurence distribution center not too far away. We drove to pick up the window for our slider door, saving a lot on shipping costs. There's our window. Window number 1 of 2. Once we were back home and ready to install the window, we decided to create a cardboard template, per our usual method.
Egal was alle sagen, tu was dir gefällt. Höre nicht auf sie, wie's dir geht, bestimmst du selbst. Es ist nur wichtig, was du denkst, also gehe nun da raus. Zeig ihnen, wie es geht, immer geradeaus. Mach dein eigenes Ding, aus Geläster wird Rauch. Räum die Steine aus dem Weg, hör auf deinen Bauch. Denke nicht.
After we were satisfied that we had a workable template, or a reasonable facsimile thereof, we moved our operation to the inside of the van.
The door has a factory stamp out that some people follow when cutting out a window. But in order to be safe rather than sorry, we traced the template on the van door. So you want to put a window right here, right?
Yep. So our feet have a good view. And the cats. So this is hopefully the last time we'll all see this van without a window.
In an effort to protect the van wall and paint, I duct taped
MacGyver.
a rag to the bottom. I don't know how well this will stay,
Guess
but
we'll
this
find
is
out.
my first attempt.
You're looking at MacGyver here, folks.
The time of no return had come.
There's no going back now.
Since we had installed a Max Air fan a few weeks earlier, we were no longer rookies at putting holes in the van. However, this one I found to be most stressful, probably mostly because of all the angles involved and the negligible room for error. I used a small drill bit to begin to create a hole large enough to get the metal jigsaw blade in.
It's not pretty, but hopefully it'll do the job.
So, this is roughing up the paint just a little bit. So I'm going to try something else and see if maybe painter's tape will protect it a little bit.
Should we also put some tape on that part of the door?
Yeah.
So here's where it's starting to kind of rough it up. So we're going to put some tape on here. Cutting the straight lines with the jigsaw was fairly easy and straightforward. The corners were a bit of a different story, especially with the metal foot of the jigsaw. Even with the painter's tape, there were a few times that the metal foot of the jigsaw would begin to dig into the paint of the door.
Despite our efforts to protect the paint by taping around the cut line, I still roughed up the paint in a few areas. Again, most likely because of the metal foot.
As our cutting progressed, we were careful to tape the cut line to help hold the metal in place. Obviously, this becomes more and more important as you cut more and more. right corner was an area where the metal foot of the jigsaw proved to be in the way. Thankfully, with our particular model of jigsaw, removing the metal foot is a fairly easy option.
To help maintain stability on the straight lines, I reattached the metal foot once past the curve. Went through one blade already. Hopefully this one will take us to the finish line. See that?
Very straight blade. Oh my goodness.
Guess that's why they come in multiple packs. Packs of multiple blades.
It didn't break, did it?
No, it
Just came out.
I don't think it broke.
What?
Shoot.
It broke?
Ah. Blade number 2 down.
That's a bummer.
As we came to the last corner to cut, we brought our template to the outside of the van and traced the line.
Voila. Lesson 822. Stay hydrated. With water, not Kool-Aid. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. As with the interior of the van, we taped the exterior to help protect the paint. I was extremely careful not to rough up the exterior paint.
Springtime fresh.
Alright, we have all of it cut except right here by the door lock. Obviously we don't want the saw blade to come trim this off, so
That'd be bad.
we're going to put the rack around it, pull back, and hopefully that will, I'll be very careful on the other end. Ready?
Yep. Chic Steve. New fashion statement in the van world.
Trying to create a cheap spacer.
So you don't cut our lock off.
Yep. Let's see how this holds up.
Okay. See you later.
How am I doing?
You're fine. You're fine. There it is.
Yay!
The whole thing is now cut out. So now we can pop it out, I guess. Voila! Ta-da!
Yay!
Ta-da! Our nice opening. So it's sticking out quite a bit, but maybe that'll change once we clamp it in there.
We thought once we clamped the window in place, it would sit a bit more flush, so we began the process of prepping the edges.
We were very mindful of cleaning up all the metal shavings. We found a creative way of using a small magnet to remove the shavings that were stuck in tight crevices. That's kind of cool. Next, we primed the edges to help prevent any future rust. After the primer dried, we brought the window out for what we hoped would be the permanent install. Unfortunately, it was here that we realized that the window didn't quite fit as well as it should, so it was back to cutting.
After a few passes with the jigsaw and the requisite filing and primer, the window fit snugly as it was designed to. We were unsure how deep the screws were supposed to go. After a bit of research and Transit Facebook group posting, I was able to learn that with a small pilot hole in each screw hole, the screws will sit in flush. Finally, the window fit properly.
Just a last word of caution regarding shavings and dust. We can't stress enough to be careful to clean everything during and after the install, as any shavings and dust will quickly leave rust spots on the surface. We had cleaned up many times throughout the installation, but must have gotten a little remiss as we did the small adjustments at the end of the process. We discovered some small spots the next morning. Thankfully, after a bit of research, we learned that a little bit of baking soda will effectively remove the rust spots. We love our new window. The only thing that was disappointing to us is that the window only opens 2 to 3 inches. We had seen it installed on other van models where it opens much more than that, but didn't know that for the Transit it's a different design due to the curve of the van. Still, we don't regret installing it because with the design of the T-vent, we can leave the window open even when it rains. We love having a window, allowing more light into the van, allowing us to see out, and providing nice ventilation. We would definitely recommend the CR Laurence window.
Egal was alle sagen, tu was dir gefällt, höre nicht auf sie, wie's dir geht bestimmt.
We hope you have found this episode interesting or helpful. If so, please click that like button. Make sure to subscribe, click that notification bell, and tune in for next week's episode. See you next time.